For those that don't know, I went and bought myself a paramotor. Paramotor is basically a flying contraption that you strap to your back. It's got a prop and an engine, and mine's a 200cc engine. You basically hook yourself into a paraglider. You hook it to a paraglider, and there's a little seat. You basically end up with a flying lawn chair that you fly up into the air. So basically what I do is I just kind of point it off into the wind, run into the wind. I try to get it to come up as even and overhead as possible. And when I think it's perfect, I hit the gas and up I go. This particular flight, I had a pretty good takeoff, and my landing was pretty good as well. So this is only my fourth flight with the motor. I've done a bunch of flights without motors, getting towed up with the training I was taking over with Pennsylvania Paragliding. I do recommend, if anyone's interested in this, they take training as well. The training is somewhat important. Very important. So I'm recording this narration, of course, after my flight. There are hookups you can do where you can hook a microphone up as you're flying to hook into your camera, so you can kind of talk a little bit about what your flight experience. Maybe I'll do that at some point. I do have a helmet that has a microphone built into it, but it's more for talking into radios than to hooking up to a camera. The flight overall was about 20 minutes. I got up maybe a little over 3,000 feet. I won't bore you with the entire 20-minute flight on a long video, just kind of show you a little bit of it. At some point, I just turned off the engine and drifted around a little bit, catching thermals. It takes a long time to come down. A paramotor, basically in still air, has about a 9-to-1 glide ratio, so that every 9 feet you go forward, you only drop about a foot. So if there's a wind coming at you, you can actually catch thermals and go up instead of down without the engine on. And I think I was doing a little bit of that. At some point, I decided it was time to head back and realized how high I was. It took forever to get back down, try and set up a landing path. I was coming into the field, and it still seemed like I was too high, so I did some circles to try to drop some altitude. You can see the wires here. Wires are probably the paramotor's worst enemy. You really got to watch out for wires. Make sure I had to make sure I came over them high enough that I was going to clear them with space to spare. A perfect paramotor landing, you kind of just barely touch down and you turn around and land your wing behind you. And this one was almost perfect, except my wing flipped over. No big deal, I'll take it. It was a pretty good flight.